This is Maundy Thursday, and one of the traditions on Maundy Thursday is the minister, the priest, the bishop, whoever is presiding, washing the feet of maybe everybody or just specific people in the congregation, and maybe even the people they wash the feet of, then they continue to wash the feet of others, and it just progresses on. It's not a tradition that's done in every Christian church, but it's very powerful, I'm told. I've never had the experience myself, but I've had quite a few friends who have had this experience. Maundy Thursday, in many ways, is one of the most significant days, significant evenings in our entire Christian story. It is this night that Judas betrays Jesus. It is this night that Jesus is out praying and asks his friends, "Why you keep falling asleep? Could you not stick with me for a little while?" It is this night where the soldiers come to get Jesus. And we have in one gospel a soldier's ear being cut off by Peter, I believe, and Jesus returning the ear to the soldier. It is this time when Jesus is taken into custody. And the public doesn't really have access to this. They won't see Jesus again until the trial is over on Good Friday. But the whole washing of the feet thing happens before any of the Garden of Gethsemane stuff does. Jesus bends down, takes his cloak off first, bends down, and starts to wash the feet of the very first disciple that he called. And Peter, God love Peter. I don't particularly like him, but I appreciate why he's there. And he's saying, no, don't do this to me. I should be doing this for you. Peter, who does not get it until after Pentecost, quite honestly, and maybe even not completely then, tells Jesus, if you're going to wash my feet, wash everything. And Jesus says, if you've had a bath, you don't need to get cleaned again. I'm only cleaning the parts that need to get cleaned. The whole idea of having someone touch our feet is very, very intimate. For some people, it's a ticklish issue. They can't have anybody touch their feet at all. For others, it's a revealing of self. Our feet are often our stinkiest parts. We don't like to share our honest body odor with people. 2,000 years ago, it was common practice, however, that the servants washed the feet of the guests who came into the manor house. Maybe not every regular house, but certainly the houses of the more elite members in society. And here's Jesus, the great Lord, the teacher, the Messiah, the one who has been in power the entire time through the Gospel of John, bending down and doing this servant's job. And Peter is appalled. Jesus has to remind him that as representatives, as leaders ourselves, we have to be servants first. I really love gospel music, especially some of the stuff that's come out about 30, 40 years ago. But so much of it emphasizes Jesus as king. The problem with Jesus as king is that it puts Jesus far away from any accessibility. Now, it makes complete sense in the metaphors of 2,000 years ago because the king ruled, period. Not like the constitutional monarchy that we Canadians enjoy, not like the novelty of a monarchy that some other countries might observe. The king made the decision. The king decided who had life or death. The king decided how money was spent and where things would go. We have metaphors of the kingdom, of the Great Jerusalem in Revelations, coming down and the reigning on high and the reigning in the New Jerusalem. It's understandable that we pick up on that metaphor, but Jesus never, ever emphasized a metaphor of power. He always emphasized a metaphor of service, of servitude, of submission almost to each other. In the simple act of getting down in front of another person, getting on your knees in front of another person, maybe even having their foot on your lap as you're washing them, it is an incredibly humbling position. You are intentionally putting yourself below the person you're working with. That's what Jesus wanted us to understand as Christian leaders, that we have to serve. We don't lead from the top, we lead from the back. We don't leave ahead of anybody. We leave under everybody. And I realize I've totally interrupted those metaphors and got them backwards. But the whole idea is that we have to give from our sense of a lesser position. That's what Jesus did. In a time when Peter wanted to hold him up as the great leader, Jesus would not accept that position. Again, Jesus turns every social assumption on its head. We have to go out there as those servant leaders. Some of us actually will physically touch the feet of others. Most of us will not. But we can take the metaphor and understand what service looks like, what putting ourselves in a position to do for others looks like. Way too often, our society and our churches encourage us to speak from a place of power. Jesus encourages us to speak from a place of submission.